What's up, everybody out there? Welcome to SnailMail. SnailMail. This is Friday's episode here, where we get to sit back, relax after a fun week, and hopefully you guys do too. And we get to listen to your guys' feedback. So you guys get to call in and leave us a voicemail. That's at 916-345-4744.
Good job.
I totally blanked out, and halfway through that, I was like, wait, is that the right one? Yeah. 345-4744. And leave us your feedback so you can talk about anything you want. We have definitely our regular callers that love to call in and say hi and have their little snippets based on the stuff we're talking about on the show. So should we jump into it?
Yeah. How many do we have?
We have a lot.
Oh, man. Are we back up to a lot?
Yeah, there was I think it was Thursday last week.
Okay.
We had like 8 or 9 voicemails come in within like a couple hours.
Oh, man.
So we're back up to 32.
Dang. And Thursday we talked about our trips. You went to Trek and I went to Lassen. I wonder if they're calling in regards to that or a previous episode.
Maybe. I don't know. We might have to start limiting like the people that call in, 3 times. They hit the 3-minute limit and then call right back and then hit another 3-minute limit and call right back, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, we try and keep this episode to roughly 30 minutes. It could go up to 40 sometimes, but we try and keep it a shorter, more fun, compact episode, which means if, one person calls in 3 times and leaves a 3-minute voicemail each time, that's half of the episode on one person. So we might have to start limiting it. We're going to keep rolling with it for now and see if we can stay caught up. At least keep it where we're not just constantly falling behind further and further.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do you consider caught up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get it back down to either like within the week of, I think ideally we'd like to have it within that week, but we'll see if we continue falling further and further behind, like we're getting more voicemails than voicemails we're going through in the show, then we'll have to either start screening or start taking them at random kind of thing. Or I don't know, we'll have to figure out something. So anyways, just letting you guys know about that. Try and limit your voicemails to 1 call, 3 minutes. And we'll see how that goes. And if we need to start doing more limiting from there. So,
okay.
Should we start off?
Yes, let's do it.
We're starting off here with Beer Craig with 3 voicemails.
Okay.
So they're not all 3 minutes though. So it looks like the first one he got cut off, and then the next 2 I think are pretty short ones. So
sounds good. All right.
Here we go. Beer Craig. What is it? No transcript. I don't even know what he's got. Here we go.
Perfect.
Hey, it's Beer Craig from Oklahoma. I had a thought. I feel like this is probably more for Tyler, but I know Jimmy will have some good input on this. It's about hard wiring, I guess, a compressor. I have a surgeon Tacoma who, and I like having my compressor in my truck because I feel like I need it, and I don't like going to the gas station to fill up tires. But I daily drive my truck, and also I have no space in the cab of my truck, and I don't like leaving stuff banging around in the bed of my truck. So, hardwiring a compressor. Don't have the Morphplate one. I'm sorry. Send one. I'll take it. When this one dies, I'll probably buy the Morphplate one. But, sorry, too long. So, all right. It is 96 degrees at 2:28 right now. It was 81 degrees when I woke up this morning at 3 a.m.
Jesus.
So if the compressor is constantly in my truck, in the summers, it will be subjected to at least 81 in the black bed with the black bed cover of my truck. I mean, 120 plus. It's going to get hot as balls back there.
Literally.
Also, it's not completely closed, like dirt and stuff. So, like, is it just dumb to hard mount a compressor like that? Not going ARB, but, like, is it dumb to mount that? Is there a way, like, put a fan going to it or something, like, to keep it cool while it runs for its life? Just something fun, an idea of how to hard mount that when I want to have it I want to have it with me more, but I also don't want it rattling around, and I don't want it in the cab. Thanks, guys. Sorry, every single time. I have a good plan.
Should we listen to what else he has to say before we talk about hard mounting compressors?
Sure, sounds good.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Craig again. Just talking about rambling. Had a whole plan on how to make my message concise, and then I got cut off. So,
welcome to podcasting.
Sorry. It'd be fun to go through different ideas of how to mount compressors or keep them in the truck better that is not taking up space, where I can have my 3 nearly teenage kids. I obviously don't know what I'm doing here. So, what? Sorry. Bye. Keep calling. God. Jesus.
That might be one of my favorite voicemails.
Endings for sure. Does it have transcripts on the third one?
It does.
Scan it real quick. Is it still about the first 2 calls?
It's reiterating what he was saying, essentially. So I just wanted to clarify the exact question I'm asking. I have more of a plate-like compressor. I don't want it rattling around my cab. I don't want it rattling around the bed. What's a good way to mount it and keep it cool?
Okay.
So,
all right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, my 2 cents is the heat within the truck bed doesn't really matter. The compressor gets so much hotter than that anyway, that the heat, that the 120, 150 degrees that your truck bed might get if you have a cover in the black cover with the black bed, that's nothing to the compressor.
Yeah.
Dirt, on the other hand, might be an issue after a while. It should be sealed enough that there's not going to be an issue with getting internally dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But if the way that the compressor gets cool by the fins and the like kind of flanges and openings and squirrely things that are on the compressor, those are the technical names.
Yep. That's what we call them with the engineers.
Yeah. If those get caked in dirt, it's going to be harder for the compressor to disperse the heat.
Yes.
So keeping the exterior clean over a period of time would be something that would be should be on your mind.
Beneficial.
Yeah. So besides that, that's my 2 cents. That I don't think you're overthinking things in a way is what I'm thinking. But on the technical side, what do you have to say?
Yeah, spot on. The biggest killer to air compressors is for sure heat. But it's mainly because they generate so much heat themselves. Any kind of piston driven system. And most air compressors are, unless you have a screw compressor, which are very expensive. So I doubt you have one of those. That's essentially what your supercharger is on an engine. It's a screw compressor.
Yeah.
So anyways, piston cylinder compressors just generate a lot of heat. Typically, all the compressors, 12 volt portable, if it's a decent quality one, can withstand 200 to 215, 220 degree temperatures. Once you start getting above 220 degrees, that's when you start looking at the failure point of compressors, through rapid failure, right?
Okay.
That's why engine mounted compressors are, in my opinion, never a good thing. Because they're starting off at 150 to 200 degrees ambient temperature. And as they run, they're just going to go up from there. And the longer that they run at higher temperatures, the faster that they will die.
Mhm.
The gaskets and seals will blow on them. The electric wiring gives out, etc. So, a truck bed, no problem for compressors typically. Even if it's 120 degrees outside, you're in the middle of the desert. Typically not a big issue. Most compressors, again, a decent quality compressor will have a thermal cutoff built into it to help save itself. Once it starts reaching that 220 degree temperature mark, it'll shut itself off and not allow itself to turn back on until the temperature of the unit drops below a certain point. So in a truck bed, not an issue. Your big issues with truck beds are the elements, like Jimmy said. A decent quality compressor will have filters around their air intakes that you can clean and replace when they get super dirty and filthy. But you definitely do want to make sure that, like Jimmy was saying, you want to keep the dirt off of the heat sinks and the squirrely things of the compressor so that it can dissipate that heat, right? And then the other big thing is rain. Right. What you don't want water to go into your compressor cylinders to get sucked into your intake, just like your engine. And so you got to be able to create some sort of cover so that your air intake is not the first thing that rain is hitting when it comes down into your truck bed.
Sure.
So outside of that, it's, finding a way to mount it sturdily, because is that a word? Sturdy. Mount it sturdy. That doesn't sound right either. I don't know. Anyways, you got to find a way to mount it properly so that it is, compressors vibrate a lot. So having some sort of rubber isolation there to help with, maintaining the hardware, or use big hardware, goes a long way to keeping those things safe and not flying around or breaking loose from the brackets or breaking the brackets themselves, etc. So you just have to beef up your brackets, beef up your hardware, or use rubber isolators to help with that vibration dampening. So, hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Well, besides that, let's slightly break some stuff down. Like if you're going to put this in, hard mount this into your truck bed somewhere, whether it's in the bed, or I've seen a few 3rd gen Tacomas that will take off a fender.
Yep.
And they'll replace the longer like cubby side, and they'll put a bigger cubby or something over there, so then they can access the compressor from the inside the truck bed.
Yeah, it kind of lives in the fender well area.
Yeah, it lives in the fender well area, but is accessible by that long cubby. Besides how you mount that, which is to be determined, you need to run power to it.
Yep.
So you're going to have to pull a lead off the battery. Roughly, do you have an idea of, I mean, I'm sure all of them range, but roughly how many amps are some compressors pulling? Like what type of fuse should you put in line?
I prefer MIDI fuses. MIDI fuses it's a style of fuse, like a blade fuse or anything else, right?
Okay.
So a MIDI fuse has really nice inline packaging, weatherproof packaging for fuses.
Okay.
So I like to recommend for people, if you're running bigger power, more amperage to an electrical circuit, aftermarket circuit, to use a MIDI fuse.
Okay.
And MIDI fuses can come up to, 300, 400 amps sometimes.
Okay.
So they have all ranges of different amperage fuses on there. I don't like recommending breakers. It seems like those resettable breakers, they're never a good quality. Like there's no good quality manufacturer of them unless you're wanting to pay a lot of money for a resettable breaker.
Okay.
If you really want a resettable breaker, spend a lot of money on one. The cheap ones always have issues. They're always going to break, quote unquote, break the circuit before their amperage rating. Like they're always way under amperaged from their ratings for some reason. It's really hard to find one that's correctly working.
Got it.
To what it's rated for. So anyways, I like to recommend MIDI fuses. On the big end of compressors, you're going to be looking at upwards of 125 amps.
Wow. Okay.
Like our Morphlate, our 10.6, the motor in that compressor, it's just a big fat motor, right? And under full pressure, so 120 PSI, that's when you're having a lot of back pressure on the system, right? The system has to overcome 120 PSI in order to create more air.
Yeah. Exactly.
The motor has to work a lot harder, which means it pulls more amperage. So the higher your working pressure, the more amperage you're going to pull. For most off-road vehicles that we're going up to 30, 35, 40 PSI, you're probably looking about 60 to 70 amps is really all the compressor is going to pull. Okay. But if you're filling up an air tank, RV tires, etc., it'll spike around 110, 115.
Wow.
So
that's something to consider.
So you need the correct rating fuse, or a really nice breaker, resettable breaker, and you need to pay attention to your wiring run. DC voltage drops power potential, I guess.
Yeah.
Voltage over distance more than AC does.
Okay.
So if you're looking at, 5 to 10 feet of wiring, not that much voltage drop. If you're looking at 20 feet of wiring, you're going to start getting voltage drops on DC.
So do you need to go to a bigger gain wire so that it can flow easier?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So keep that in mind. The longer your run, the thicker gauge wire you want to use to run the wiring to wherever you mount your compressor.
All right. And there's probably calculations for that out online.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Yep.
And then another thing to think about is your on-off switch.
Yeah.
And how you're going to plug your compressor air hoses in, right? Because if now you're hard mounting it in a little cubby on the side,
you need an access port for your
access for the air line or the on-off switch. So you need to figure out a way to reroute those so that you can easily get to them. So there's a lot of little things to think about. But Beer Craig, I think you're smart enough. I believe in you. I think you can handle this.
Yeah.
And maybe you should look at getting a Morflate compressor.
Yeah. If you're looking at mounting it hidden away, wait until next year.
Hint, hint.
That's all I can say.
That's what I'm waiting for.
All right. So everybody listening to the episode just signed an NDA. Just FYI. All right. So next up is Donnie.
Donnie. Haven't heard from you in a while, Donnie. Oh, you texted me the other day.
I was going to say, we've been texting with him quite a bit. Here we go, Mr. Rover Don.
Yeah.
Hey, boys. Rover Don here. Got some follow-up to your safety chat follow-up from episode 614. That's like the episode that's never going to die, apparently. So as you may have told, the old Rock Rover took a bit of a nap up on Slick Rock recently.
Heard he took a couple naps.
Yeah, 3.
A couple of comments about that. First, you were highlighting how important it is to wear your seatbelt and keep your hands in the vehicle. And absolutely, that was the classic, I'm not doing anything. I'm just backing up a little bit. And, I could see the rock that the driver's rear was going to climb. I didn't see that there was also a hole that the passenger rear was going to drop in. And then that just let the truck roll right over. Of course, both me and my passenger were wearing our seatbelts, and he was smart enough to, cross his arms over his chest, not stick his hands out or anything like that. No injuries at all. Had we not been wearing our seatbelts, even at that, 2 mile per hour flop, could have been a really ugly scene.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other detail is you're talking about securing all of your gear. My truck, for those that don't know, it's a Land Rover Discovery, but the roof is all cut off, so it's open other than a roll cage. So more like a pickup in that regard. But all of my equipment is mounted on packouts, either my actual pack-out boxes that I have tools and supplies and camping gear in, or like even my fridge, I put it on pack-outs. Everything's attached. It all stayed put. Everything held up fine. The only negatives were things like I had some things in the door pockets, little quickie tool check and, air chucks and stuff like that all came out. The stuff in my center console popped out and all fell out. The worst of it was the refrigerator. The lid popped open and all the sodas and beer and lunch and everything all exploded all over the granite, which made quite the lovely mess. But just simple safety things there. It's always you don't think you're doing anything that gets you. So yeah, good tips. Keep that going. At this rate, you should get to that around, I think September. So this will be a good callback for you. I'll talk to you later. Keep crawling because Toyotas suck. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, talk to you later. All right, bye.
Hey, Jimmy, we're ahead of schedule.
We're ahead of schedule. Glad to hear it. It's because of that one episode where we did like a full episode on catching up.
Right. Yeah, it's good stuff. Definitely. The shit happens when you're least expecting it to happen, right? That's kind of I don't want to say the definition of an accident, but
yeah,
that's when you have your guard down, right? When you're doing something that's very involved. Yeah, the risk is there, but it seems like most of the shit that happens and dangerous situations that happens when your guard is down and you're just moving 2 miles an hour, backing up the rig.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm glad that you and your co-pilot were okay. And thanks for the advice. But yeah, I want to know a little bit more about mounting your fridge on a pack out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you literally like screw into the bottom of your fridge
right.
or did you strap it to a pack out base somehow or... send me some info on that or call in and just give us a quick rundown on how you attached your fridge to a pack out system so that it can latch in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be interesting to hear about.
Yep.
Cool.
Next up.
Yeah.
Richard from Atlanta.
Richard.
This one is 3 longer voicemails.
Okay. So this might be the end of the episode.
We'll see. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, Tyler, it's Richard down in Atlanta again. I'm going to try and keep this under 3 minutes. Likely won't happen. Things that bother me, and then I've got a couple questions.
You know what grinds my gears, Jimmy?
And I see a lot of people out posting pictures, social media, running Fordyce, doing Rubicon, doing these trips that are obviously like destination type trips for us that are over on the East Coast. But man, I don't see nobody doing it. I mean, they've got like ORIs, like freaking long arms. I don't even know if they're 37s. It looks like they're running 40s and above. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, man, your pictures look great. I want to get out there, blah, blah, blah. I haven't grown up that big yet. And my first question is, did you drive your vehicle all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast to go wheel like that or trailer it? I mean, just like, how much did that cost and all these things? That kind of ties into my other question. I mentioned about the wife kind of wanting to get out to the Arizona area, Sedona-ish, something. And I'm, starting to look at places to rent, a Rubicon from to, be able to go wheeling and all that. But, looking for some information with that, possibly in like the Northern California area, Montana. You get where I'm going with this. Somewhere other than Moab. We do intend to take the kids at some point, hopefully next year, to Moab. We've only been there once. I want to go back, do it over Thanksgiving, but I don't know if we're going to make it there this year without the kids. So just, I don't know if you guys have any ties or any information or anything like, groups that allow you to rent vehicles to go, run some of those hard areas. Talking about the Rubicon, is the Rubicon like a straight through thing where you have to do it? You have to run. You can't just get off. You can't go wheel for a day and then get off. But you have to camp. I feel like I'm getting ready to hit the 3 minute mark. I'll call in with more questions later. The other thing that bothers me or what sucks, an ex-wife. That's a whole nother episode in itself, isn't it? Talk to y'all later, gentlemen. Keep crawling.
See ya. All right. So
a few questions in there.
He called back almost 30 minutes later, so I don't think it's related.
Well, let's answer these questions and then move on to what's next.
Yep.
He started off with talking about the vehicles that are really big, really well built. How do they get from east to west? I would assume they're trailering.
There was a lot of vehicles, surprisingly, from at least the Midwest this year at Jeepers Jamboree that drove their vehicles out from Oklahoma, Tennessee, etc.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean it's a long drive for sure, and it's a grueling drive in my opinion. Jeeps are not the most comfortable vehicle to drive long distances.
Someone might argue
they can do it.
They can do it
for sure.
Yeah. I think if you built your vehicle well enough, you can definitely drive it across country. I mean, I know that there's people out there that do it. I always thought it'd be fun to go on like a 48 state road trip and try to wheel in every single state and just, take Bobcat out and go. But I think that, it's definitely possible. People drive their crawlers everywhere. People also tow their vehicles everywhere. Now, do you need 40s and above with link suspension and ORIs and all this crazy suspension to do the trails out here? No, you don't. The Rubicon, 33s with maybe a rear locker and skid plates and bumpers and all sliders and all, that's really all you need. Fordice, they're designing it, or they're trying to have it built for somebody with a 4-door or 2-door,
four-door Wrangler,
on 35s.
Yep. That's
to be
what
able
they're
to complete.
Gauging it for.
It'd be very difficult.
Yep.
But you should be able to complete the trail with that. Yep. Now, Bobcat's 37s and leaf sprung, and I can do almost everything on the trail with maybe the exception of Windshield 3's box. So, and Tyler's on a pretty much a buggy setup now. So
I got a buggy.
Yeah, there you go. So what else was in there? Rubicon.
Yeah.
Can you just go out for a day and turn off and go out to a hotel, or do you have to camp? What's the deal there?
Pretty much if you're very familiar with the Rubicon, you're up there a lot, you know where all the lines, where all the rocks are, you can get through in a day and go hang out at a hotel in Tahoe or Pollock Pines,
but it's not
or
that
Georgetown.
Not that enjoyable.
It's not that enjoyable to do that. I would highly recommend, if you're going on the Rubicon, you're camping. There's no quick, easy in and off of the trail. It is pretty much a straight through. Now there are 3 entrances, so there's a multitude of different ways to run the trail.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not like setting up a base camp somewhere and then going at a hotel and then going into the trail and coming back out kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can wheel in and turn around and wheel out, but if you want to do the whole trail, there's no turnoffs throughout in the middle of the trail to be able to just go out to a hotel.
Yeah.
I will pitch Dave McKinney's his company, the Rubicon Trail Adventures. Yeah. They have vehicles to rent. I'm not sure if they just let you take it or if you need to be a part of a guided tour with them.
You need to be part of a guided tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially for the Rubicon, which is, a difficult area. But I would, reach out to him if you have any questions about renting vehicles in the area. He would be way more informed about that. He's a sponsor of the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. He's a great guy. We need to have him on the podcast.
We do. We just can't seem to get our schedules aligned because we record on, Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And he's working during Tuesdays most of the time. So it's hard to get our schedules aligned with him.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to have him on the podcast to talk about everything he's doing and the guided tours and trips and everything that he does. And he's got a bunch of vehicles from Jeeps to Toyotas that you can choose to drive and take out on the Rubicon. So that's pretty neat. I don't know many other Jeep rental areas or any vehicle rental areas outside of Moab.
Yeah.
Besides that, but in regards to places to go, I'm a fan of national parks right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any wheeling done in a national park, but there's all kinds of things to go and see and do. If you're just looking at the Moab general area, you have Zion National Park and Bryce National Park and the Grand Canyon sort of just in that vicinity, not to mention Canyonlands, Arches, Four Corners, Mesa Verde, Monument Valleys, all down in that southern general area of Arizona, New Mexico kind of thing that you were looking at, which are a lot of fun, really interesting areas. So check out some of those. If you have any questions about that, Richard, just hit me up, Instagram, SnailTrail4x4, and I'll be happy to talk with you about those.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to his next ones.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, Tyler, Jimmy, it's Richard one more time. I'm just, continuing to drive down the road and be bothered by I don't think I ended my other snail mail the right way, but what I was trying to elaborate on is that, I see a lot of people on social media, and I'm sure just people that don't post on social media are doing these, very difficult trails, whether it's East Coast or West Coast. But obviously, me being East Coast, I'm, of high interest of stuff on the West Coast, really ever since, last year and getting out to Colorado and Utah and stuff. But it just bothers the shit out of me because, these people are like, oh, I had a great time on Fordyce. Oh, we had this and that. And I know both of y'all's rigs are big, but like, I'm like a daily driver, kind of like feasible. Like this isn't just like a purpose-built thing for us. And I don't know why, but it just bothers the shit out of me when I see somebody in the Jeep world that's got like, I don't know, ultimate 60s under the front and back of the Jeep, long arms. They're on like 40s or 42s. Just everything, either coilovers or ORIs or, a lot of money in the vehicle, right? And don't get me wrong, one day I hope that we can grow up and be larger than we are. That's probably something Jimmy says to himself all the time. But anyway, it just seems like, well, no shit, you can go do that. And I'm sure it was a blast because, damn, you're riding in there with damn near everything, What about, my question is, what about the daily driver guys? What about the weekend warriors that don't trailer in, that, might feel they should trailer their rig because that's really their only way to get around? They don't have all this super aftermarket, parts on their rig, right? They might be on 37s, maybe on 38s, maybe they're on, but they're not, these extreme rigs with like, $15,000, $20,000 worth of axles under the front and back and stuff like that, So I don't know. I like seeing stuff like that, but it just, it bothers the shit out of me seeing it sometimes because it's like, man, you can go do whatever you want to with stuff like that, So, anyway, like what Toyotas are running around like that? Let me put it in perspective. Everything I see running around here is barely even on 35s. Even at, places like Windrock and stuff like that. So it just seems like there's such an investment in money and time and everything to build this big rig. And then, you're able to go do that stuff. So I don't know if it's a jealousy thing or not. It's cool to see people out. I dig it, but it's just like, damn, where's the challenge in that? Like you're not really, what are you accomplishing other than just getting out at that point? Anyway, happy Monday.
Oh, happy Monday to you too.
Happy Monday, buddy.
Yeah, I think the thing is, Richard, that somebody that has, let's say, Ultima Dana 60s, let's just say 40s, like 12 or 14-inch coilovers, front or rear, long arms,
armor,
all
everywhere.
the armor, winches, and whatever else. They're building their rig to be able to conquer anything that they put in front of the bumper.
Yep.
Right. Anywhere that they go, they want to be able to conquer that trail, whether they're going to Moab, doing Rubicon or Fordyce, going down to, why can't I think of the name right now, but down in southern Utah, Sand Hollow. Yeah. They want to do the hard trails down at Sand Hollow. They want to go over to anything on the East Coast where they need some horsepower and some crazy articulation. They want to conquer it all. They don't want, to be concerned with it or worry about it, and it's not usually a daily driver for those people. So these people that are building these one vehicle that conquers all style Jeeps it's not a challenge for them to wheel the Rubicon. It's not a challenge for them to wheel parts of Fordyce. There's maybe they're having a challenge at Winch Hill 3, like I was talking earlier. Sand Hollow, they can probably do almost everything except for some of the buggy lines, and they're going to know their limits. And the way that I'm correlating all this back together is you with your, Jeep on 33s, short arms, and maybe a front bumper and a winch. I'm guessing here. You know your limits too, right? Mm-hmm. So that it's going to be easier for you to drive across the country. You're not going to burn up these super expensive tires. You haven't put in the gearing or anything that is going to make it like more expensive if you break, but you're not going to be able to conquer all these super extreme obstacles because you just haven't built your Jeep there yet. Mm-hmm. You can still, if you're on 33s and if you have a Rubicon, so you have a front and rear locker, and you have proper skid plates, you can do a ton of things. You probably are underestimating the skills of your Jeep. We've said it numerous times, and you've heard us say it. The limiting factor on how good your vehicle can wheel is you.
Yep.
You're not confident enough to go out and do some of the things. Your vehicle can handle it, or a buddy around will winch you through it. One or the other.
Yeah.
But you can wheel Fordyce. You can wheel the Rubicon. It's just going to be extremely difficult. And to some extent, that's more fun, I think. Like these people that are wheeling, if you have a Toyota, a Jeep on 40s and full widths and all the armor, you're not challenged doing the Rubicon unless you're going down Old Sluice or up Old Sluice, right? There's no real other place that's a challenge for you on the Rubicon. On Fordyce, Windchill 1, Windchill 3, Windchill now sounds like 4.
4's pretty dug out right now.
It's pretty bad. Those are going to be challenges. The rest of the trail, you're just yawning and cruising down the trail. Where if you're on 33s, 35s, you have to pay attention the entire way.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more of a challenge. And I would argue it's going to be more fun.
Yeah, it depends what you're looking for, right? Do you want to? I would argue that the people that are spending all that money on their rigs for tons, 40s, long arms, armor, all the goodies, right? That they are spending that money so that they have the peace of mind on the trail.
Pretty much.
Somebody, if you, or maybe they have more money than time available, so they don't have time to build something themselves. They don't have time to risk breaking and spending in a couple extra days on a trail. So they just put the money in instead to overbuild stuff so that they save their time. I don't know. There's a whole plethora of reasons why people would have more money or less money into their vehicles. People find different parts of wheeling more enjoyable than others. So like Hussman loves just going out and trying to tackle the biggest obstacle he can find. That's why he's built his buggy and keeps upgrading his buggy with each season. So whereas there's other people that are just like, I just want to get to Barrett Lake and hang out for the weekend. Right. Like I don't want to have to worry about the trail. I want to get to Barrett Lake. That's my goal, right? There's different things people find enjoyable. And if you find the challenge of the trail more enjoyable, then don't build your vehicle as much. If you find more of the destination and the peace of mind more enjoyable and valuable, then yeah, you're going to have to put a little bit more money into your vehicle.
Right.
So
I would also slightly consider that the people that you're seeing on Instagram that have 40s and full widths and big everything, big Jeep, big tires, big axles and all, those people are probably some sort of influencer or care about or doing some sort of influencer platform, and they're building their vehicles up so that they can go out and do things so that they can probably do some sort of influence platform. Yeah. And you're not seeing the dude that is just out there for recreation. Yeah. Right. You're seeing the person that's trying to make money. Yeah. And has a big ass Jeep because it's flashy and people follow it and people are interested in what they're doing. And then they're talking about something off road so that they can try to make a little bit of money compared to the guy that drove from Alabama to the Rubicon with his, in his Jeep XJ. And in an XJ on 33s that wheeled the Rubicon, and you just never hear about it because he just did it for fun for himself and he's not trying to be flashy about it. Yep. So I think that you're missing something by just seeing everybody's happy side.
Yeah, for sure.
On social media.
I think there's something to say about that on a larger scale, not just off-roading, about social media.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Even the mini assistant even said, like, because we were recording a Jay's Jaunts and she's like, I feel fake. Like, I feel like we're only reporting happy things. I'm like, well, then let's talk about sad things. Like if something bothered you while we were out there, people are going to want to know about it. Yeah. Like you don't have to feel fake. We're not, we don't want to put out this portrayal of like everything was great the entire time. Yeah. Let's talk about the negative side too. Yep. If there was a bunch of mosquitoes somewhere, let's talk about it. Yeah. And she's like, okay. But I do feel that, or I do agree with that, the whole social media side is like, look at me, I'm better than I am.
Yeah.
And I think that's not right. But
Yeah.
nobody wants to show bad things.
Yeah.
It's like show their negative side.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do one. Let's finish Richards and then we'll call it a day.
Cool.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Hey, Tyler, Jimmy, it's Richard from down in Atlanta again. Starting to feel like Zach calling in with all these voicemails, picking on the guy. Listen, I just totally thought of something, another topic. Batteries. You know, it doesn't matter if you drive a Toyota that sucks or a Land Rover Cruiser that who knows what the hell those are about, or a Jeep, right? If we're like, you know, off-road trail riding, vehicle batteries, you know, some might say that, you know, there's the, I guess, examples of, you know, just the regular batteries you might be able to get from the car store, that all the jostling around that happens when you're off-road, you know, might, I guess, break some internal parts with the batteries, things like that. What are your guys' thoughts on, you know, do you try to stick with like a, you know, an AGM type battery, you know, something from O'Reilly's or whatever your local parts store is? You go to the extreme of like an Odyssey battery. I know they're like super expensive, but a lot of people with built rigs, really built rigs, run those. Or you know, just like a you know, the red top, yellow top, blue top. Why can't I think Optimos? Just kind of want to get y'all's thoughts on that. And the second question was about winches. For like a daily driver type rig that gets wheeled, do you guys leave your winch power leads, you know, the ground and the positive connected to the battery at all times? I mean, just like daily driver bopping around, you know, running errands, getting groceries, whatever. I've always kind of wondered how people handle that. I never like having an extra component kind of like connected to the battery like that all the time that I'm not using. I typically connect mine up, you know, prior to us going wheeling. Man, now that I'm talking about this, I wonder if I said this already in a voicemail. You guys are so damn far behind. I forget because I haven't heard him. Anyway, I just want to get your thoughts on that. I'll end it here before I get cut off. Keep crawling.
All right, batteries.
Batteries. I think we could do an entire episode on batteries.
Probably.
I think we can, you know, go into lead acid, AGM, lithiums, sizes, types. You know, there's it's sort of vague because
solid state.
Yeah,
that's the next coming up.
But it would be sort of a generic discussion because vehicles cranking, you know, all vehicles take different cranking amp or cranking amps.
Cold cranking
amps. Thank you.
CCA.
Yeah. But I think there could be an entire one there. So briefly stating, I went with an AGM style battery for my truck. I like this stuff. It's sealed. So if you do flop, nothing's going to be coming out. It's also gelled, so that when you're upside down, it still can run. And so, you know, whether the battery is in the correct orientation, you can kind of put them in almost any orientation and it'll work, unlike a lead acid style. And I know you have a lithium.
Yep.
Why don't you talk about that?
Lithium is very, very similar to an AGM in terms of makeup and how you can orient the battery. It's all sealed. And the big difference with lithium is the battery monitor systems, the BMS. All lithium batteries nowadays come with a BMS, battery monitoring system, built into it, which is a smart computer chip that controls the charge cycles, the voltage of the battery, emergency shutoffs due to temperature or power draw or dangerous low voltage. You're going to damage the battery cells. There's a lot of different protections built into BMS. So that's why, and the other big difference is that lithium will, because of that BMS, it kind of will output your 14.2 to 13.8 volts, 14.4 to 13.8, until the cells are pretty much empty, until there's no voltage left in the cells. Whereas an AGM or lead acid battery, they're going to slowly drop voltage until the cells are dead. So, you know, once you drop, say, a 12 volt battery, 12 volt nominal, is going to start out, your AGM lead acid will be 13.4, 13.3. Yeah. Roughly at full charge. And then once you're below, and it'll just slowly decrease. Once you're below like 12 volts, you're getting into 11.8, 11.9. you're looking at starting to damage the battery if it goes much lower.
Okay.
And that you don't have a whole lot of usable power compared to lithium.
Right.
Because once your voltage drops below that, all your 12 volt devices that are drawing the power from that battery to run, once you're below that 12 volt voltage, your devices don't want to work as well anymore.
Sure.
So you're not really getting usable power out of the battery. Whereas a lithium general, this is not precise or super accurate, but generalization, you get almost twice the usable power for the same rated amp hour battery of lithium compared to a lead acid or AGM.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like I have the, oh my God, I just blanked on the name of the company.
It's not Battleborn.
No,
it's
not Optima, not Battleborn, not Odyssey. Anyways, I can picture. Anyways, it's a lithium battery. It's about the size of a red top Optima red top AGM, but it has double the amp hour rating. So mine is 135 amp hour.
Okay.
It's the physical size of a red top, weighs half of the weight of one red top. But so I'm already starting at a red top is about 65, 70 amp hours, I believe, rated. But because of that voltage drop over time on AGM, you're not really getting the full, you're only really getting like 30, maybe 40 hours, amp hours of usage of usable 12 volts out of that AGM.
Okay.
Compared to what it's rated at. The lithium though, that I have is 135 amp hour rated. So it's already starting at double the rating, but because of the BMS and outputting your 13.8 volts, the entire way of the discharge of the cells, for that one lithium battery I have, it has about the same usable power as 4 red tops.
Wow.
So if you think about it, a red top right now is $280, $300.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
From Optima retail price. So you're looking at 4 of those. You're looking at about $1,200.
Okay.
This lithium battery I have is about $1,200 from Redline. No, fuck it. It's not Red Arc. Oh my God. Dakota Lithium. That's what it is.
There it is.
Dakota Lithium. So anyways, it's a really, really nice battery. And it has the advantages of lithium, which I love, which is the full voltage all the way until the battery is turned off by the BMS due to low voltage of the cells. Half the weight of one red top and usable power of 4 red tops.
Right. A big thing to think about though with lithium is a lot of standard lithium batteries out there that you can find don't have the cold cranking amps required to start a vehicle.
True. A lot of them are really good for house batteries. But Optima just announced within the past couple of months their new starter batteries.
Okay.
So the Optima now has a cranking amp starter battery. Dakota Lithium has a cranking amp starter battery. There's a few others out there that have cranking amp starter batteries now.
Yeah. They're out there. You just have to pay attention.
They're
You just
a
can't,
lot more expensive.
Yeah, you can't just pick a lithium battery and think it's going to work in your vehicle.
Yep.
Because it's 12 volt.
Yep.
It's not how it goes. You have to find one that's has the appropriate cold cranking amps.
Yep. And lithium batteries do not do well in low temperatures.
Correct.
So once you're sub-freezing temperatures below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, lithium batteries do not work. So you have to have a external or internal heater for the cells to keep them above freezing temperatures. So if you are going into sub-freezing temperatures a lot, like spending a month down at King of the Hammers, it can get below freezing at night down there. You need to make sure that you have a way to protect that battery and keep it from shutting off on you if you want to use it, or you have to wait until the afternoon for it to heat up and get back above freezing.
Get above freezing.
So,
yeah.
Whereas AGM, you can use them below freezing.
Correct.
So,
yeah. But I think we'll do an entire episode on that.
Yeah.
We're also running a little long today. So, but he did ask about winches. Both of us have our winch constantly connected, but we also have a big, it's not a solenoid. It's like
it's a solenoid. It's massive solenoid. Yeah. It's a massive relay, I guess.
Relay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is in line right off the battery. So if anything goes wrong, if there's ever a power draw or a spike in that, the solenoid will cut it all off, and we won't have that discharge.
Yeah. Well, the relay, it's a giant switch, right?
Yes.
It's an electromagnetic switch. And these ones we have are 450 amp rated switches, essentially relays. And so I just keep mine turned off. So that there's no power draw, nothing going past the relay out to the winch. That really thick cabling that's running the length of my vehicle, because my battery's in the back of my vehicle.
Right.
It's none of that has any power going to it until I want to use the winch. Then I flip on the relay that sends power out to the winch, and then I can use the winch.
Got it.
But most of the time you're not having an issue. The winch is not drawing power from your battery if it's not being used. The main issue you have to worry about winches, because they run 450 amp pulls under full load, that they require wire that's essentially welding wire. So if you get a short in that wire, you're burning your vehicle down.
Yes.
So that's the main concern with winches. It's not so much that they'll draw your batteries down. It's more that if you end up with a short in that wire, very bad things happen very quickly. So either route those wires very carefully, put a lot of external insulation on them to keep them from rubbing through wear points, tie them down so that vibration doesn't rub at all on their external insulation. Do anything you can to minimize a short happening on those wires, and you'll be just fine keeping it hooked up, connected. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if you guys have any questions or comments, you can always call in 916-345-4744. Be a part of our snail mail episode. Sorry, this one went a little long. We did have quite a few callers that had some great questions. So we covered a lot of information this week. I think that's it.
Cool. I guess have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Bye-bye.
The number you have called has been disconnected.